Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence, and today I'm going to show you how to make this classic British tart, which was requested by someone in the UK, which proves that if you guys ask, I deliver. The origin of a Bakewell tart is still in dispute, but a story can be traced to the landlady of an inn, a Mrs. Greaves, who in the Derbyshire town of Bakewell left instructions for her cook to make a jam tart for her guests. The cook misunderstood the instructions and laid the jam layer below the frangipan before baking and serving. The tart turned out to be a winner, and word spread across the town of Bakewell, the county of Derbyshire, the United Kingdom, and now, because of the amazing efforts of Brilliantly British, the internet too. So now you're aware of the history, allow me to show you how to make this much loved tart. For today's Bakewell Tart episode, you will need the ingredients in front of me right here. So you will need some ground almonds, some sliced almonds, some almond extract, some caster sugar, some baking powder, some icing sugar, some plain white flour. You'll need some homemade raspberry jam. You want the homemade stuff. If you don't know how to make your own homemade jam, click the link up there. And it's a strawberry jam episode, but it's the exact same process for raspberries. Some butter, some eggs, and finally, arguably the most important ingredient of all, get yourself a nice cup of hot tea to stay hydrated whilst you bake. To make our sweet short crust pastry, I'm going to first mix together the flour and the icing sugar. Then I'll flake the butter through until I have somewhat of a breadcrumb consistency. I'll then add in my egg yolk and incorporate that fully before gradually adding in teaspoons of water to bind the mixture together. Once enough water has been added, compress the dough into a ball before placing it into an airtight container or bag before resting it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. To start making our frangipan filling, I'll cream together the caster sugar and the butter until they've both become a light, airy, pale coloured mixture. After which, I'll add in a few teaspoons of almond extract before gradually whisking in my beaten eggs. And then you're halfway through making the frangipan mixture. Putting our creamed mixture to one side, we'll combine our almond flour and baking powder together before combining our wet and dry ingredients, forming our frangipan filling for our tart. Our pastry is rested for 30 minutes in the fridge, and now we're going to roll it out. Before we do, switch on your oven to begin preheating. As you can see, I've rolled it out, making sure that it's large enough to properly cover and fit into our tart pan. With a rolling pin, I'll gradually lay the pastry over the pan. With my hands, I'll then encourage the pastry to take the form of the pan before using my thumb and my palm to cut off the excess around the edges. At this point, the tart base is ready to bake. As well, I'll mention that any of the scraps left over don't have to be thrown away. What I did is roll them into a ball and then turn them into biscuits. We're almost ready to bake the base of our tart, but first what I will do with a fork is prick the base. This simply ensures that steam can escape while it bakes. After pricking the base of your tart, upon it lay some aluminium foil, followed by something to weigh it down in the form of baking beans. Filling the pan with rice would also be a suitable alternative. Then blind bake the base as it is for 20 minutes before baking uncovered for a further 15 minutes. I allowed the base to cool before spreading in my delicious homemade raspberry jam. I mean, look at it. Upon my layer of jam, I then dolloped on my frangipan batter before scattering sliced almonds, fully assembling my Bakewell tart. I then returned my tart back to the oven to bake until brown and cooked through. This is baked now, and I've allowed this to cool fully. Ideally though, you should eat this while it's still warm. Nevertheless, tasting. So, I'm really looking forward to this. It smells like almonds and tastes like almonds. Rich, buttery. The raspberry jam in this is nothing short of being beautiful. This is well balanced. The pastry is nice and crisp. When you want to cleanse the palate, start again. Beautiful. Tea, Bakewell Tart. It doesn't get any better than this. Please make this yourselves. Oh, and I almost forgot the biscuits I made from the leftover pastry. What the effort. I mean, didn't take that much effort, but they're crumbly, buttery, a little bit sweet. So on this channel, we like to encourage you guys to reduce waste, and this is the great way of doing that. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch this episode where I've shown you how to make a classic British Bakewell tart. I'm sure by now you're halfway out the door, running over to your local supermarket to get the ingredients for this tart. But just before you go out, like this episode, subscribe to this channel, and make your requests for the things that you'd like to see on this channel known in the comment section below on Facebook or on Instagram. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.